The council chamber of the Galactic Preserve fell silent as High Curator Vexthal's verdict echoed through the crystalline halls. Arya stood motionless, her human frame dwarfed by the towering alien dignitaries surrounding her, yet her posture remained unbowed. By unanimous decision, Vexthal announced, his 6 eyes gleaming with cold finality, the human-designated Arya will be removed from Sanctuary Station. Humans have proven unsuitable for childcare duties within the preserve. The words hung in the air like poison. Arya's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Around the chamber, various species nodded their agreement, the Calyx with their chitinous faces, the ethereal Luminae, the massive Drogoth, all convinced that humanity's aggressive nature made them unfit to nurture the orphaned cubs of war-torn worlds. Arya had spent 3 cycles on Sanctuary Station, caring for the abandoned, the traumatized, the forgotten children of 100 conflicts across the galaxy. She had held them through nightmares, taught them to laugh again, showed them that not all large beings meant harm, but politics, as always, won over results. You will vacate your quarters by sunset cycle, Vexthal continued. Your replacement, a Melodian empath, will arrive shortly. Arya finally spoke, her voice steady despite the anger simmering beneath. May I say goodbye to the children? Vexthal's mandibles clicked in what might have been discomfort. Brief farewells only, do not upset them further. She turned and walked from the chamber, each step measured, controlled. The human way, they would say, always restraining that violent nature. If only they knew how much restraint it actually took not to tell them exactly what she thought. The children's ward was alive with afternoon activity when Arya entered. 23 cubs from 17 different species, ranging from the tiny crystalline shardlings to the hulking, pre-adolescent Morak who still called her Rhea because his translator couldn't quite manage human phonetics. Ren saw her first. The small Valix cub, barely 4 cycles old, his spotted fur still showing the scars from the colony bombing that killed his pack, noticed the bag in her hand. His large amber eyes widened with recognition. He'd seen refugees carry such bags. He knew what they meant. Without a word, Ren scampered to his sleeping pod and began pulling out his belongings, a worn blanket, a datapad with stories Arya had recorded for him, a toy shuttle she'd printed when he first arrived, terrified and mute. Ren, sweetie, what are you doing? Arya knelt beside him, her throat tight. Going with you, he said simply, stuffing items into his own small pack. His voice carried that matter-of-fact tone children used when stating obvious truths. Honey, you can't... But other cubs had noticed. Myra, a Syndrel with translucent wings, began folding her clothes. Tok, a Drogoth youngling who'd witnessed his entire herd slaughter, grabbed his comfort stone. One by one, all 23 children began packing. Cubs, please ... Arya's voice cracked. You have to stay here. This is your home. No, Ren said firmly, his small paw clutching his blanket. You're our home. The word hit Arya like a physical blow. Home, not the station, not the walls and beds and regulated meal times. Her, a human. The species deemed too aggressive, too violent, too dangerous to care for children. The council said, Arya began. The council is stupid, announced Kree, a bird-like Tavian who rarely spoke. They weren't here when I had the rot sickness. They didn't sit with me all night. They didn't teach us the human word brave, added Scylla, a tiny shardling whose crystalline body still bore cracks from trauma. They didn't make the monsters go away, whispered Tok, and several cubs nodded. Arya looked at them, this impossible collection of orphans and survivors, and saw what the council refused to see. They weren't just different species, they were children. And children knew, with an instinct more ancient than politics, who kept them safe. You can't come with me, she said gently. I don't even know where I'm going. Then we'll help you find out, Ren declared. The door chimed. High Curator Vexthal entered, flanked by guards. He stopped, his expression shifting through several colors as he processed the scene. Every single cub packed and ready, standing in defiant solidarity with the human. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Ren stepped forward, barely reaching Vexthal's lower joint. If Arya leaves, we leave. Preposterous. You are wards of the preserve. We are her children, Ren interrupted. And 22 other cubs moved closer to Arya, forming a protective circle around her legs. Vexthal's eyes fixed on Arya. You orchestrated this manipulation. I did nothing, Arya said truthfully. I was saying goodbye. Cubs do not simply... Cubs know who loves them, Talk rumbled, his massive frame blocking the guards from approaching. Humans understand loss. Humans don't look away from pain. Humans teach us to be strong. Vexthal was silent for a long moment. Around him, other council members had gathered, drawn by reports of the disturbance. They stared at the seen cubs of species that typically showed fear or aggression toward each other, standing united, protecting a human. Perhaps, came a new voice, we measured the wrong thing. Elder Moth. The ancient Lumine who rarely spoke drifted forward, her light pulsed gently. We judged humans by their capacity for violence. We forgot to measure their capacity for love. But their nature, Vexthal started. Their nature, Moth interrupted, is exactly what these children need. Someone who understands surviving the unsurvivable. Someone who fights back against nightmares. Someone who teaches that fear and fury can be transformed into strength and hope. She turned to the council members. Perhaps we are the ones who need to leave. Vexthal's colors cycled through shock, resistance, and finally something that might have been shame. He looked at the cubs, truly looked at them, and saw not species classifications, but children who'd stopped flinching, who smiled, who played. The council, he said slowly, may have been hasty. Ren's paw tightened on Arya's hand. She squeezed back, hardly daring to breathe. We will revisit our decision, Vexthal announced. Pending further evaluation, as the council members filed out, Arya sank to her knees and 23 cubs piled onto her in a massive multi-species hug. She held them close, these children who'd seen the worst the galaxy could offer and chose love anyway. Told you we were going together, Ren whispered. Arya laughed through tears. Yeah, kiddo, together.